So imagine, just for a second, that you are sitting at your kitchen table and you've just had it. Like the ultimate eureka moment.
Oh, yeah, the classic back of a napkin sketch.
Exactly, right on the napkin. You have sketched out this brilliant, genuinely world-changing idea. I mean, it is the kind of innovation that could totally disrupt an entire industry.
It's an incredible feeling.
It is. You are thrilled, your heart is racing, but then almost immediately, this cold dread just washes over you.
Because you realize that having the idea is really only step one.
Right. Step two is protecting it. And when you look into what it actually takes to defend an idea from being, swallowed whole by a massive multinational corporation, you realize you are entirely outgunned.
Completely.
You simply cannot afford the legal fees to build a wall around your own brain.
It is a profoundly frustrating reality for anyone who, loves learning, researching, or just innovating in general.
Yeah.
The system that was theoretically designed to protect innovation often ends up acting as a massive financial barrier to it. I mean, if you are an independent researcher or a small startup, the traditional avenues are practically impassable.
Which is the exact dilemma we are unpacking in today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We are exploring a completely unique legal certification process, basically a revolutionary third way to protect your intellectual property globally without having to declare bankruptcy in the process.
It's a fascinating workaround.
It really is. We're relying on a comparative strategic report on IP defense, some highly technical excerpts detailing a specific publication called Il Mondo Ideal, and a series of visual process flowcharts. Our mission today is to see how a single researcher, or a small to medium enterprise, can actually stand up to the overwhelming legal firepower of a multinational giant.
Right. But to really appreciate this loophole, we need to diagnose the illness first, right? We have to understand why the current system is so fundamentally broken for the little guy.
Absolutely. And I tend to think of it like a really high-stakes game of poker.
That is a great way to put it, actually.
Right. Like, entering the traditional patent system as a small innovator is basically sitting down at a table where the multinational corporations have an absolutely endless stack of chips.
Endless.
It doesn't even matter if you have the winning hand or if your idea is objectively better. They can just keep raising the blind, burying you in legal fees and opposition filing.
Until you just run out of money and are forced to fold.
Exactly.
And the worst part of that poker game is that you have to pay just to sit at the table in different countries.
Right, because of the territorial limit.
Exactly. A traditional patent is strictly territorial. If you manage to, scrape together the tens of thousands of euros required to patent your idea in the US and the EU.
Which is a huge if, by the way.
Oh, massive. But say you do it, but you don't have the budget to patent it in Japan or Brazil, well, your idea is completely unprotected in Japan or Brazil.
Well,
you only get the protection you can afford to buy, literally territory by territory.
So a multinational could just take your idea legally and manufacture it in a country where you couldn't afford the filing fee.
Precisely. And even in the territories where you are protected, you expose yourself to the opposition phase.
Which is what, exactly?
Well, dominant companies have entire departments dedicated to just searching for new patents and challenging them. So they turn the defense of your own title into an unsustainable financial burden.
Okay, but wait. Let me push back on this a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
If I came up with an idea first, right, and I documented it, why can't I just rely on basic copyright? Like, the old poor man's patent where you mail yourself a sealed envelope?
Oh, the sealed envelope, right.
Yeah. Or just publish a white paper on a blog and then sue for plagiarism if someone steals the technical schematics. Why doesn't that work for technological or systemic innovations?
That brings us to a critical legal concept. Since the case studies we're examining today are based in Switzerland and Italy, you'll see this referred to in the legal texts as stato della tecnica.
Okay, stato della tecnica.
But globally, it's just known as prior art. The problem with the generic plagiarism defense is its evidentiary fragility.
Evidentiary fragility, meaning it basically just shatters when you take it into a courtroom.
Yes, exactly. Because copyright is designed to protect the expression of an idea, like the specific words in a novel or the visual layout of a schematic, but it does not protect the underlying functional concept itself.
Oh, I see.
So if you write a brilliant essay about a new type of energy grid, copyright stops me from republishing your essay under my name.
Right.
But it absolutely does not stop me from reading your essay, understanding the science, and then just going out and building the grid.
Ah, because the grid itself is a functional technology, not a piece of literature.
Exactly. If you want to claim that a multinational stole your technological innovation, you must have certified, unassailable documentary proof of exactly when your idea existed in the public domain.
And a blog post just isn't going to cut it.
No, because without that rock-solid proof of prior art, fighting a company that has already industrialized a similar solution is, well, it's a legally uncertain, weak, and purely reactive nightmare.
You are basically trying to prove a timeline with weak evidence against a massive team of corporate lawyers.
Right, which is exactly why most inventors just give up at this stage.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because this is the exact moment where the frustration peaks. Patents are too expensive and entirely territorial. Basic copyright is too weak because of that evidentiary fragility.
Yep.
You are basically told that unless you are a billionaire, your ideas are up for grabs. But the strategy we are looking at today outlines a real breakthrough alternative.
It really does. It shifts the entire paradigm from traditional industrial defense to a strategic informational defense.
Right. We're looking at this concept of using a certified scientific divulgative journal as like a literal legal shield.
Specifically, a publication called Il Mondo Ideale.
And that carries the ISSN 3043024 for those tracking the sources. But, I mean, why this specific journal? If I'm an inventor sitting in London or San Francisco, does a multinational tech giant really care about an Italian publication? What makes this any different from me just, posting my technical schematics on a university forum?
The difference lies in the deliberate legal engineering behind the journal itself. Il Mondo Ideale is directed by Professor Michele Piano,
Okay.
and his multidisciplinary background as a philosopher, a sociologist of sustainable development, and a strategic business analyst informs the entire structure of the publication.
So it's not just a standard academic review.
Not at all. It is explicitly designed as a cultural laboratory and a dynamic intellectual property tool. It focuses heavily on artificial intelligence, innovation, science, and sustainability.
Right.
But its primary function is to transform the simple act of sharing knowledge into a legally binding act of formalizing paternity.
Okay, so it's not a lifestyle magazine, it's a weapon.
Exactly. It is about the crystallization of technical scientific knowledge. I mean, an ISN, an International Standard Serial Number, already gives a publication a certain level of formal recognition.
Sure.
But writing an article, even in a respected journal, still leaves you vulnerable if, say, the hosting server crashes, or if someone claims the digital files were altered after publication.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, to hold up in international court, the publication needs an unquestionable temporal anchor.
Because otherwise the corporate lawyers will just say, well, how do we know you didn't hack the server and change the date on your article to make it look like you invented this first?
Precisely. And that is where the specific technical mechanism comes into play. The journal is integrated with a very specific institutional mechanism, which is Web Archive Switzerland, managed by the Swiss National Library.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because instead of just posting a blog that can be edited later, or relying on some standard internet archive that might have gaps or glitches, it's like putting a digital time capsule into a Swiss bank vault.
That is a great analogy.
It's a completely neutral, state-backed lockbox.
That is precisely what is happening. The archiving by the Swiss National Library, acting in coordination with cantonal libraries, creates a permanent legal memory.
Permanent legal memory.
Yes, and this introduces the vital concept of data certa.
Which translates to certain date.
Exactly, certain date.
So when Il Mondo Ideale publishes the innovation, it is simultaneously swept up and archived by this Swiss federal institution.
And the very moment that happens, it receives an unquestionable, globally recognized temporal proof. It is certified by a national institution, guaranteeing the absolute integrity of the content over time.
So no one can claim the date was faked.
No one. And they can't claim the text was altered. It is completely frozen in time, protected by the state.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener? We have this Swiss certified timestamp. We have the permanent legal memory. But how does a timestamp actually protect me from a conglomerate stealing my design?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we arrive at the core strategic concept here. The strategy is known as burning the field.
Burning the field.
Or, in strict legal terms, precluding patentability. Because the highly technical details of your innovation are published with an unquestionable state-certified date, your idea instantly becomes part of the global prior art.
Oh, wow.
And the fundamental rule of patent law worldwide is that you cannot patent something that is already prior art.
Because it's already in the public domain. It's established knowledge.
Yes. By publishing it this way, you ensure that no one else, no matter how rich they are, no matter how aggressive their legal team is, can patent that invention.
That's incredible.
You have literally burned the field of patentability for anyone trying to steal it and claim it as their own original idea.
Wait, okay. Burning the field sounds a bit like I'm destroying my own invention, though. If no one can patent it, doesn't that mean I can't patent it either? Am I basically just giving this away for free? How do I make any money if I don't have a monopoly on my own idea?
That is the crucial trade-off, and it introduces another concept called the diritto di proso.
The right of prior use.
Exactly. You are totally correct that you are giving up a temporary monopoly.
Right?
But in exchange for that, you retain the unquestionable right to utilize, industrialize, and profit from your own innovation. You have essentially formed an impenetrable strategic barrier to entry.
So I can still build it, I can still sell it, I can still franchise it to whoever I want.
Absolutely.
I just can't sue someone else for independently making something similar down the line. But, and I guess this is the main point, the giant tech company cannot sue me.
Exactly. It acts as a defensive shield rather than an offensive sword. Think about the traditional patent again.
The endless poker chips.
Right. It takes years of navigating bureaucracy, massive upfront investments, and it only protects you in the countries where you specifically paid the fee.
Yeah.
The burning the field strategy through certified publication is immediate. The protection kicks in the exact moment the archiving is complete. It is highly accessible, very low cost, and most importantly, prior art is universal.
That is a massive distinction. Because prior art is universal. You don't have to pay a separate fee for Japan, Brazil, and the US.
Nope.
The Swiss certified timestamp proves it existed globally on that specific date. Period. It completely flips the power dynamic.
It really does. Instead of trying to outspend a giant in a patent office, you simply make it legally impossible for them to claim the idea in the first place.
Okay, I want to make sure we ground this in reality for you listening, because it's pretty easy to grasp this if we are talking about like a new kind of coffee mug or a simple mechanical gadget.
Sure.
But the strategy we are discussing is actively designed for researchers and SMEs working on highly complex systemic architectures. Could you give us an example of what kind of modern innovation actually needs this exact type of approach?
Yes, because modern innovation is rapidly outpacing, well, basically 19th century patent laws. The method we are discussing is perfectly suited to protect things like smart living ecosystems or the application of a digital twin to territorial systems.
A digital twin applied to a territorial system. What does that actually look like in practice?
Think of it as a highly sophisticated digital replica of a physical environment. A prime example from the sources is something called the Biogeo model.
The Biogeo model.
Yes, which is a cognitive territorial organism.
A cognitive territorial organism. That is a wild phrase. So we're talking about physical spaces, like actual buildings or neighborhoods, that essentially think and interact.
Precisely. The Biogeo model is a local concept that transforms intelligent buildings into relational and energy hubs.
So they aren't just passive structures anymore.
Right. They are active participants in an energy ecosystem. They generate, they share, and they manage resources dynamically. The model integrates a digital twin to monitor the health and performance metrics of the systems, the energy grid, and the people within them in real time.
Wow, so it's an incredibly intricate web of interactions. It's the software, it's the physical infrastructure, it's the energy management protocols, all tied together into a single, almost breathing system.
And that is exactly why traditional patents fail here. I mean, how do you patent an entire interconnected social and energetic ecosystem?
Right, it would be like trying to patent the concept of a neighborhood. You just can't.
Yeah, you can't.
And even if you tried to patent the individual pieces, like, say, a specific energy sensor or a few lines of code, a multinational can just tweak one minor detail, change the sensor type, and bypass your patent entirely.
Exactly. The traditional patent is just way too rigid for something this fluid and complex. But by using the burning the field strategy, by publishing the comprehensive systemic architecture of the Biogeo model in Il Mondo Ideal and securing that Swiss certified data certa, the creators do something brilliant.
They lock it all in.
They lock the entire architecture into the global prior art.
Ah, because if they pitch it to a massive energy conglomerate, the conglomerate can't just steal the blueprints. The blueprints are already locked in the global prior art. They basically took a time-stamped photograph of the entire interconnected code.
The entire ecosystem, exactly, which allows them to take the Biogeo model, which started as a local concept, and safely pitch it globally.
That's huge.
They can take this model to other cities or entirely different countries without the paralyzing fear that an energy conglomerate will listen to their presentation, say, thanks for the idea, and then go patent the systemic architecture themselves.
Because the publication makes it legally toxic for a tech giant to even try to copy it.
Exactly.
It's like they are open sourcing the concept to the world, but with an ironclad, Swiss-certified lock on their paternity of the idea. They get the credit, they retain the right to operate and profit from their model, and no one else can build a toll booth on their highway.
That is the ultimate power of the right of prior use. It ensures that ideas born to improve the quality of life, like these smart living ecosystems, remain a protected good available to society rather than being locked away behind a corporate monopoly.
We have really covered some incredible ground today.
We really have.
Just to synthesize this journey for you, we started with the paralyzing dilemma of the innovator who has a world-changing idea, but no endless budget to defend it against a giant corporation. We saw how traditional patents are prohibitively expensive, purely territorial, and leave you vulnerable to endless legal opposition.
And we saw how mailing yourself a sealed envelope or relying on generic copyright just doesn't have the evidentiary strength to hold up in an international court.
Right, it fails due to the evidentiary fragility of protecting only the expression, not the function itself.
Exactly.
But then we explored this massive paradigm shift, the realization that scientific divulgation, specifically through a deliberately engineered journal like Il Mondo Ideale with its ISSN 304300240, can actually be weaponized.
In the best way possible.
Exactly. By combining that highly technical publication with the rigorous, state-backed digital archiving of the Swiss National Library, you achieve data certa. You get an unquestionable, legally unassailable timestamp.
You secure the permanent legal memory of the innovation.
And by doing so, you essentially democratize intellectual property.
Mm.
You don't need millions of euros to protect a complex systemic innovation like a smart living ecosystem. You just need the right publication strategy to burn the field, making it absolutely impossible for anyone else to patent your brilliance.
Which is incredibly empowering.
It establishes universal prior art, and you secure your own right to build and profit from your idea. It completely levels the playing field.
This raises an important question, though. If we step back and look at the broader trajectory of innovation...
Out where this is going. Lay it on us.
Well, if this burn the field strategy, this certified Swiss-backed democratization of intellectual property, truly becomes the standard for independent researchers and SMEs worldwide, what happens next? If we effectively end the era of corporate patent monopolies dictating who gets to build the future, could this actually accelerate a new golden age? An age of truly open, collaborative, and globally protected innovation where the best ideas win, not just the deepest pockets.
Now that is a thought to mull over. The end of the monopoly, the rise of the certified innovator. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We always aim to give you the tools to see the world a little differently, and hopefully today, we've given you a totally new way to think about protecting your own brilliant ideas. Keep questioning those traditional ways of doing things, and remember, the next time you sketch out a world-changing idea on a napkin, you might not need a towering legal team. You might just need a Swiss bank vault for your thoughts. Catch you next time.